Hey everybody, it's Sara Martin from the Sustainabillies, coming to you from the western North Carolina mountains. Well, the weather is beautiful and we're excited about getting some stuff in the ground. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about planting plants. Most of you guys are going to be picking up plants from a greenhouse or from somewhere, a local farmer that's got these plants that are going to be in pots. And so there are some things that we need to take into consideration as we're planting out plants. The first thing is timing. You can see here, this is an oregano, which is a perennial plant. It's perfectly okay for me to plant this plant out just a little bit early. It's a little tender, but it's going to be just fine. It's warm enough for it. If you've got summer plants, things that like the soil to be really warm, you want to wait to plant those guys until the soil has had a chance to warm up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this plant out of the pot. Now you might notice that when we look at this potted plant, a lot of roots have grown up against the side of that pot. This plant has basically reached its maximum space inside here, and so it's trying to grow out into surrounding soil. We want to encourage to do that, and so we're going to tickle these roots, and we're going to make it to where that plant is going to reach out and grow into that surrounding soil. And we're going to take this plant, we're going to place it into a hole that's appropriately sized. We want to maintain the level of the soil with this plant. Most perennials, things like peppers, herbs, they want to be planted at the same level in the ground as they are inside of the pot. You don't want to bury them too deep or too shallow. It'll result in the crown of your plant rotting, or your plant being always out of the soil and drying out and not having access to nutrients. Speaking of nutrients, we've got some beautiful compost. We already have really nice garden soil here because we've been amending this location for years, but we make this beautiful compost here on the farm. And so I'm going to amend this hole with a little bit of compost. I'm going to mix it in with the native soil. So we've got a nice soft bed to set these freshly loosened roots down into. I'm going to tuck this little guy in with native soil and a little bit of compost, mixing it together. Now this little guy is ready to go. He's in that hole. You can see the crown of the plant is right at the surface of the soil. I've tucked him in. You don't want to leave a bunch of air spaces in there because that'll prevent water from getting to the roots of your plant. And then I'm going to water him in. I'm going to push a little bit of this surrounding mulch around him. That way we don't have weeds competing. And he's good to go. You may notice it's a little overcast out here today. This little guy's been in our greenhouse, and so he hasn't been getting full sun. And so I'm planting it. It's going to be overcast, maybe a little rainy for the next couple of days, so I know he's not going to get sunburned. I know it sounds crazy, but plants can get sunburned just like us if they're not used to being out in the sunlight. And so you'll always make sure if your plants haven't been hardened off, which is the process of taking your potted plants, setting them out in the sun for a little while every day to harden them off to that sunlight. That's always a good idea. We are going ahead and popping this little guy in because we've got several days of this overcast weather, and we've also got a lot of row cover on hand that we can cover him just in case the sun does decide to come out. Well, I hope this helps you guys get all your little babies in the ground, all tucked in there nice, and you guys get growing. Have a great day.